All secrets of growing Bougainvillea indoors. Hello, plant lovers. Welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to talk about how to grow and care for Bougainvillea indoors. These vibrant plants can add a splash of color to any room, and with the right care, they can thrive just as well inside as they do outdoors. Let's dive into the secrets of growing Bougainvillea in your apartment. How to care for Bougainvillea. Light and location. For Bougainvillea to produce the maximum number of blooms and remain vibrant, it requires full sunlight, or at least 6 hours of direct sunlight each day. If your Bougainvillea isn't blooming even in summer, consider moving it to a sunnier spot. The best location for this plant in your garden is against a southern or western wall where it can receive the desired light and warmth. Caring for Bougainvillea in winter requires extra attention. If you live in an area with cold winters, cover the plant with a cloth or blanket to protect it from the cold and prevent plant death. It's best if this warm cover has a frame to avoid direct contact with the plant. Also, uncover the plant during the day so it can receive sunlight. Bougainvilleas kept in pots and indoors have a shorter blooming season. Place the potted plant near a southern window and, if possible, move the plant outside during the summer. Be aware that potted Bougainvilleas are more prone to frost damage than those planted in the garden. In cold seasons, move the plant to a warm location or cover it with a warm blanket. Watering. Bougainvillea is a drought-tolerant plant and can handle periods of dryness quite well. It prefers to receive a deep watering every 3 to 4 weeks rather than frequent, shallow waterings. Proper watering during the growing season spring to summer helps keep the plant healthy and promotes more blooming. Bougainvillea does not like to remain in constantly wet soil, so it's best to let the soil dry out between waterings. Check the soil moisture once a week by inserting your finger into the soil. If the top 2 inches are dry, it's time to water the plant. For ground-planted Bougainvilleas, water thoroughly so that the entire root zone is moistened, but avoid waterlogging. For potted plants, water until the excess water drains out from the bottom of the pot. After about 30 minutes, empty any water that is collected in the saucer beneath the pot to prevent root damage. Overwatering can lead to root rot, so ensure the soil is well draining to avoid excessively wet conditions. Too much water can also reduce blooming, causing the plant to focus more on leaf production rather than flowers. Fertilization. The best time to fertilize Bougainvillea is during its growing season, spring to summer. Use granular fertilizer for plants in the ground and a water-soluble fertilizer diluted to half strength for potted plants. Begin this process in early spring and continue until mid-summer. Pot size. Bougainvillea roots do not prefer a very large space, which is why the plant may not bloom sufficiently in a large pot. Bougainvillea tends to produce more blooms when its roots are slightly root-bound. Therefore, it's better to choose a pot that is not too large. Pruning. As part of Bougainvillea care, proper pruning is essential. Pruning Bougainvillea requires care and skill. If not pruned correctly and at the right time, the plant can enter a vegetative phase where long thorns grow instead of flowers. These thorns help the plant orient towards the light. For proper pruning, trim the stems about 1 centimeter during the growing season to encourage the plant to grow more stems and produce more flowers. Bougainvillea responds well to pruning. You can trim the lower stems to focus the plant's energy on the upper growth. If you want to prune the plant to reduce its size, wait until the blooming season is over. The best time for this is late fall or early spring, after the frost has passed, and before the plant starts blooming again. Always disinfect your pruning tools with alcohol before and after pruning to prevent the spread of diseases between plants. Dormancy period. Bougainvillea needs a dormancy period to stay healthy and vibrant in the summer. This rest period naturally occurs in winter, when temperatures are lower and nights are longer. If you need to move the potted bougainvillea indoors for the winter, place it in a slightly cooler and darker location to help the plant prepare for its rest period. Warning: many bougainvillea species are known for their sharp thorns. When handling or transferring this plant, it's best to use standard gloves. If you plant bougainvillea near walkways, consider putting up warning signs to alert people about the thorns. Pests. Spider mites may attack bougainvillea in early spring. The best way to combat them is by washing them off with water. Silkworms may also cause damage to this plant. These worms can be green, brown, or green-yellow and are very small. They attack bougainvillea leaves at night, feeding on them. Replanting. It's best never to uproot the plant from the soil and relocate it elsewhere. Bougainvillea dislikes having its roots disturbed. If you intend to move the plant to a different location, it's better to purchase a new one. However, if you're forced to transplant the plant, you must do so with utmost patience and care, as its roots are highly sensitive. Potting. Bougainvillea can perform well in pots, but it's advisable to choose a variety with less vigorous growth. Taller varieties require very large pots to accommodate their extensive root systems. Support. As bougainvillea grows taller, it requires more support. The plant cannot cling or twine by itself, so it needs assistance. Supports for bougainvillea can include walls, fences, other trees, plastic ties, or even the plant's own stem, which can be tied up. Propagation of bougainvillea. The best season for propagating bougainvillea is spring. Bougainvillea plants can be propagated in two ways: by cuttings or by seeds. Propagation by cuttings. The easiest method of propagating bougainvillea is through cuttings. Cutting bougainvillea can be done at any time of the year. To take a cutting, locate the softwood section of the stem. Softwood is a part of the plant that has recently sprouted but has not yet become too woody and firm. Select a stem with the specified characteristics and cut about 10 to 15 centimeters from it, ensuring there are at least 4 to 6 nodes on it. Nodes are parts of the stem from which other stems grow or from where flowers appear. You can optionally dip the cut stem in rooting hormone. Remove all the leaves from the stem and place it upright in a mixture of equal parts perlite and compost. Bury the stem about 3 to 5 centimeters deep in the specified mixture and firm it in place. Keep the potting mix moist but not overly wet. After a few months, the cutting will root and you'll have a new bougainvillea plant. Propagation by seeds. Propagating bougainvillea from seeds is an unconventional but feasible method. In autumn, your plant produces seeds in the center of its small white flowers, and we need these for propagation. Detach the seed pods from the bougainvillea flowers and dry them. Then, you can extract the seeds from them. These seeds can be sown at any time of the year, provided you provide a warm environment for them. These seeds are not in a hurry to germinate and may take a month or more, so be patient. Flowering. Bougainvillea varieties typically flower twice, once in early spring and again in midsummer. Bougainvillea flowers can be found in various colors such as white, gold, pink, purple, or magenta. Some varieties of this plant are bicolor and variegated. It's possible that the colors of the plant may change after you've planted it, which is not uncommon. Bougainvillea flowers appear more vibrant when the weather is cooler, such as in early spring, and as the weather warms up, the colors become brighter. Why isn't my bougainvillea flowering? This is one of the most frequently asked questions. Before we start, it's worth discussing flower pigmentation. According to the belief of many gardeners, bougainvillea's best color appears when the roots are fully congested. Bougainvillea planted in garden soil has a lot of space for root expansion. Although these types of flowers may become lush and bushy, they will not ultimately display the original color. Another important factor in flower color is the dry period. Based on our observations, flowers that tolerate a dry period will have better color when blooming. Encouraging flowering. During spring and summer, ensure the plant receives an adequate amount of water and fertilizer. If the plant is wilting due to thirst, quickly give it water. Instead of using fertilizers with high nitrogen content, opt for potassium-rich fertilizers, such as Bougainvillea fertilizer. Once every 3 weeks, feed the plant with a tablespoon of Bougainvillea fertilizer, or use specialized Bougainvillea fertilizers. Stop fertilizing during fall and winter. When you feel the plant is on the verge of wilting, water it. Bougainvilleas kept in large pots and outdoors should preferably be pruned during these times. This way, they can be easily stored in the garage or other areas and will be protected from the cold. However, indoor bougainvilleas should be pruned at the beginning of spring. As spring arrives, return potted bougainvilleas to the yard and place them in bright sunlight. Don't forget to resume fertilization. The flowering period of bougainvillea will continue for several weeks. Then, the plant will rest for a while before preparing for the next flowering season. And there you have it. With these tips, your bougainvillea can thrive and bring a burst of color to your home all year round. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more gardening tips. Thanks for watching, and happy gardening.